By the end of this video, we're going to have made this here zipper that is fully functional and most commonly seen on pants. All right, editing corn, keep it moving. Real quick, if you don't have any pattern pieces to work off of, there's the two front leg panels and then the facing or flap that goes behind the front one and then the back flap piece. I line up what would be my two leg panels, right sides facing each other, laying down my zipper and laying it where it's going to end up, halfway between this bottom nib and the bottom of the zipper. I'm going to mark that spot and then stitch from here around and up to that point. Voila! The more keen of you have probably noticed that I have not been finishing the raw edges. Definitely make sure you do that if this is the final pair of pants you're going to wear. Otherwise, the wash will really decimate them. Let me know if you want a video dedicated just to finishing raw edges and the different options. From here, I'm going to pull this right leg panel down and then align the front fly piece with the edge of the left leg. And you'll see I have about a 1/2 inch overlapping on top here. This is where my seam ends from this previous bit we did. I'm just going to go ahead and extend that line up a little bit. Then I'm going to sew from the top all the way down to here. And the reason for the marking is I want to go along that same line, but I want to stop about, 1/4 of an inch from hitting this seam here. Just like that. I'm putting the zipper on the left-hand side. This is traditionally how men's pants are made. Women's are typically on the right-hand side. The reason is apparently because women used to be dressed by servants, but I don't think everyone used to have servants, so maybe something the rich folks did. Either way, do whatever side you want, whatever you like. I now want to press this to lie nice and flat. I like to do this in 2 stages and then fold it all the way over. Tuck that in behind there and then press that down to lie flat. The reason we left that little gap there earlier is so that there'd be enough of a leeway for this to tuck in behind real nice. And then I run a top stitch from the top all the way down to the bottom. Gorgeous. Next, we're going to put in the flap that goes behind along with the zipper. We need to start by prepping that under flap. Whatever yours looks like, make sure it's sewn together. I personally like to do mine as just one whole flap. Flip it around with right sides touching each other. I sew the bottom, snip the bottom 2 corners, fold around, and voila. I'm going to flip the leg panels to touch once again. I then take the zipper, right side facing down, and align it with this unsewn edge here. Next, the under flap, also aligning with the edge and along the bottom here. I pin those in place, and I'm going to open up that zipper about halfway. It's going to make sewing much easier. If you don't have one, I highly suggest getting a zipper foot. Without it, the teeth of the zipper just make it very difficult to get close enough. And then we're going to sew from the top all the way down to the bottom here. And then once I can feel that I'm getting close to the tab of my zipper, I make sure that my needle is down. I lift the presser foot. I push the tab past where I'm sewing. Put my presser foot back down again. And keep on sewing. Voila. I'm going to flip that flap over along with the zipper, pull this other side out of the way. I'm going to press that to sit nice and flat. Finally, I run a top stitch from here all the way down to the bottom. And I think it's worth pointing out that this is where the stitch ends on the front piece, and both the zipper and this back flap end up going about a ½ inch below that. So eventually, once this is all sewn, all that stuff is going to be hidden. We don't want to see any of that. All right, I'm going to run that top stitch, top to bottom. Got my needle down, lift up the pressure foot, push that puppy past, zipper foot back down, and continue along. Starting to look a bit like a fly. Fun fact, this is not my day job yet. So if you want to see what working corn does every day, check out this link here that editing corn has shared. It's a lot of corns. Next, it's time to attach this top flappy bit onto this side of the zipper. I'm going to take this front side, flip that back over again, and then lay this top flap wherever I want it to land in the end. And ideally, I want there to be about, 1/8 of an inch, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch of overlap, because I want to hide that zipper completely. I want everything lying really nice and flat. I hold it all in place with my hands. I lift up the top pant leg. I also grab the front fly flap, and I'm looking for the zipper underneath, which I'm then going to pin onto just the fly flap. Again, lie it flat, lift, find the zipper, and pin in place. Then I'm going to lay that down again, pull the top layer over one more time, and just feel to make sure that there's no bubbling with the zipper or any of the layers of fabric. And then I sew it from the bottom all the way to the top. Once again, let's do the old lift, zip, open. Come on. Onwards I go. All right, the zipper is on. A little bit of a wobble there, but I'm gonna have to forgive myself. And then to finish that off, I want to sew the leg panel onto this flap here. So what I'm gonna do is look for that edge, make a little mark, look for that edge, make a mark, and then find the curve as well, make a little mark. I'm going to pin these two layers together just to make sure nothing moves. And then I'm going to sew just on the inside so I know I'm catching it everywhere, and go all the way around to the bottom up to this seam here. Of course, I don't actually want to sew this back flap here, so I'm going to make sure to flip that around. So as you can see here, I've got it pulled this way, and then nothing is underneath. I double check just to make sure this is still out of the way. I'm only going to go up to this stitch here, and then go backwards to close that up. And that's the back side of it there. Now I'm going to flip this back flap back over, flip this whole thing around, and do a little zigzag stitch right here to hold that back flap in place. Or, as it's sometimes called, a bar tack. And then I like to put another one right along this stitch here, right where the opening is, just to reinforce the area because it's going to receive a lot of pulling and tugging over its lifetime. Voila, there we go. Congratulations, you've sewn a whole zipper. Maybe you've watched me sew one, but if you're following along, congratulations. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Can't forget the one-off donations. Greatly appreciated as well. Chances are, if you've made it this far, you're up for watching something else, so as presented to you by Algorithmo, here you go. And let me know if you made it this far down in the comments.